Is this windmill the missing piece in your flexibility and or strength training? Or do you just have tight shoulders, maybe a tight back, and you're trying to work on a little bit of hamstring flexibility? This is really great for spinal rotation. If you need more spinal rotation, is this all this is good for? Yes, and so much more. So let's talk about this windmill real quick by the bodyweight warrior, Tom Merrick himself, the man. What we're doing here, let's kind of describe what's just happening. So we are just forward bending, right? It looks like a hamstring stretch, except we've got a weight in one hand that's staying upwards and twisting back. And then we've got one arm that's reaching forward, kind of twisting our body forward. So we're essentially going back on one side and forward on another side. In this case, this reaching here helps us extend better there. So we are rotating the spine forward on this side, rotating it back, and we've got a weight, and we're doing this over and over. So if you know Tom's work, you're going to get a bunch of reps in. So this will build some strength and flexibility. Where will it build strength and flexibility? Great question. So obviously the posterior shoulder on this weight bearing side is going to get a lot of work. That's where you can kind of see some of the shred already. His arm is twisting back, right? And he is loading this posterior shoulder. Now that is assisted by this arm going forward, so he can really get this side back even better. So if you want to loosen up your shoulders kind of quickly, this is a good way to almost kind of unscrew your shoulders. Now, some of the bigger benefits I think are further down the chain actually. So one of the big sticking points in a lot of people's flexibility and or strength training is this low back, and it's specifically the QLs, which are muscles that are just on either side of those paraspinals or the back straps, right? They're just kind of on the outside. They're small muscles. The QL, the quadratus lumborum, they become very stiff, and they also can become very weak. This exercise, this spinal rotation here, will help to kind of unwind and then also strengthen those in that unwound position because of the weight, because of the reaching, because of the bending. Now, you don't have to bend all the way forward, but this will start to loosen up those QLs in a serious kind of way. You don't really need a lot of weight, but if you do have a lower weight, you want to get some higher reps in. And of course, that's Tom's big thing. But this will cure some tight shoulders very quickly. That's the most obvious thing that this is going to do. That's going to free these up. You're tensing up those muscles, you're loosening them up. You're tensing them up, you're loosening them up. So this will kind of shake those up. It'll also shake up your low back muscles. But the big kind of hidden benefit of this is actually this lateral hamstring. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but just on the outside of his knee, it's almost kind of lit up in white there, just at the bottom of his short. You see where the pointer's going, right? That lateral hamstring is very hard to target, especially if you're working on your pancake, which targets more of the medial side, or you're doing any sort of split squat stuff. You get a lot of the middle belly. This lateral hamstring that this windmill can target is actually kind of very unique. You see that right there. He is hammering that little hamstring. So he's getting a stretch on it, but then he's uncoiling and recoiling, which is building strength and repetition so that tissue gets a lot of blood flow, and it's going to be strong and prepared for when he wants to do other things. Spinal rotation loosens up the shoulders by extending on one side and flexing on the other. Strengthens up the posterior shoulder. You can get shredded like Tom doing these. The biggest one for me, I love the fact that this will crank open these QLs in the lower back. So if your lower back is a little bit stiff, sometimes it's one side versus the other. Now you're going to want to do this on both sides. Obviously the video is just one, but you're going to want to do it on both. But it will really free up, loosen them up via the twisting and untwisting, the coming up and coming down, the flexion and extension. And it will also very well hit this lateral hamstring, kind of loosen and then strengthen it up all in one motion. So you're going to want to do a bunch of reps of these. You're going to want to try this. You're going to want to like this. You're going to want to share this with your friends. And comment below. Tell us if you liked it. Tell us if you tried this exercise and what you found during it. And also, if you like your video analyzed, send us a DM, shoot us a message, and maybe you're next. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Check out our podcast. Check out Tom's work. You already know his stuff. It's the best. And have a great day. Peace.